Hey everyone, I'm here with Travis Wyman, who recently had a great weekend at Road Atlanta. He's a regular contributor to On the Level magazine, and we caught up with him earlier. But let's talk about your weekend, Travis. How does it feel to walk away from such a great weekend at Road Atlanta, where you had not only two first place finishes in the Superbike Cup, but you finished third in Stock 1000 Race 1, and then you won Stock 1000 Race 2. What's that feeling like, man?
It's pretty surreal. I've been pretty busy since the race, working and getting things in order with the race team that it hasn't really set in yet. It's pretty amazing to come away with a few victories, the points lead in both classes, and then also a new lap record. I mean, I had pretty high expectations for us going into the year because we got a ton of testing time, but it's hard to explain. I mean, I know now I have the target on my back because I'm, up front in both classes, but I know I need to stay focused and work even harder because I know the rest of the guys are going to be pushing for that top spot.
Yeah, that is so awesome, man. Let's talk about the races and talk about how the S1000RR performed. So I know in Stock 1000 you gridded P2, but it looks like you had a little bit of a soft start in both races. Actually, you started P2 and you ended up going through chicanes in P5 or something like that. Let's talk about those starts.
So it's quite frustrating. We're testing some new a new clutch package in our bike, and we kind of missed the setup a little bit with it. So my starts, it was pretty unpredictable how the clutch was going to react. So we know what to do to fix it for the next round, and I definitely don't want to make excuses, but I definitely got some horrible starts in the races, and it made my job a lot harder for sure. But I knew we had a strong package, so I knew I could fight for the win, but it took a little bit more effort in that first race to even get on the podium. So
yeah, you had to really work your way up into you ended up going through, you guys all went through lap traffic. You had said last time we talked that the S1000RR that you favored the flat tracks like Indy, and Road Atlanta is not a flat track, right? So you guys make some setup changes to make the bike work better and rises and declines and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Going into last year, it was a learning year for us with the new bike. So we were kind of shooting in the dark with our setups to begin the weekend. So going into Atlanta, we had a pretty good baseline to start at from what we learned last year. So right out of the gate in first practice, we were, first place by over a second on the whole field. So I felt really good about our setup. And really, I attribute it all to the testing that we did leading up to Atlanta. The weekend before Atlanta, the team and we raced at Button Willow. The weekend before that, we raced at Chuckwalla. So we were fully prepared and ready to fight right out of the gate.
That is awesome. And then you finished third in that race, and you weren't that far from the front at the end, right?
No, I said on the podium, I wish we had another 5 laps because I think I would have had a shot because we were able to manage the tire pretty well. But I had to work pretty hard for that podium spot because it was such a tight battle between me and a few other riders. So in Sunday's race, I knew that if I was more aggressive in the beginning, I could have a shot at the win, but I didn't think it would be such a commanding victory as it was, so yeah. It was extremely rewarding.
Yeah, so again, race 2 on Sunday, you had another soft start that put you in 5th, but you had the mindset that you had to get up there faster than you did in race 1.
Yeah, absolutely. By lap 3, I was in 2nd place. So okay. I was pretty aggressive to make those passes because I could see the leader was already starting to break away. So I knew I had to get into 2nd as quickly as I could. And once I got 3rd place and there was still a handful of laps left, I knew I could slowly chip away at Jeff May, the leader. But it definitely wasn't easy. I was running lap record pace in order to do that. But once I closed the gap on him and made a pass, I made sure that I got by him in time to start catching some lap traffic so that I could be the decision maker in that. But no, it's just it's really a true testament to the team and the effort we put in leading up to the race.
That's awesome, man. So where do you think the double R has an advantage over the competitors? Is it the straight line speed? Or is it all areas? Where is it strong? Where is it weak?
You know, when you win a race, the bike's strong everywhere. It was difficult to really kind of gauge myself off the other riders, but the new Honda is really fast in a straight line. I just think we really nailed the setup for Road Atlanta, because I've never felt more confident to push the bike and put in solid laps. And it honestly felt kind of easy to do the pace that we were running. And it was almost a second under the previous lap record. So I'm looking forward to the next round for sure.
Yeah. So when you're trailing, you're seeing where you're losing time and you're thinking, what am I missing in that corner? What am I missing on the straight? But if you're leading, it's harder to see those things, I guess, right?
Yeah, but it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, VIR is next. So are there any things that you're gonna want to adjust with the bike? The launch, for one.
That's our main focus right now, is making sure that we have the right clutch setup for a good start, because if I can qualify up front and I can get a start, I feel confident and I can put in the laps, because I got like the first race jitters out of the way. Like, I remember what it felt like to lead a race, to take the checkered flag, which is a very overwhelming emotional fight that you have to go through. So now that I got that weekend behind us, I feel like if we get the starts nailed down at VIR, we should have a real good shot at hopefully a couple victories, because it's a double stock weekend again.
Yeah. What was that last lap like in race 2? Just holding it together, just making sure you don't make any mistakes?
I'm pretty sure my heart rate was pegged on the last lap, more so than the laps that it took me to catch the leader. There's a lot of emotions there. You got to try and stay focused, hit your marks, get through it. Thankfully, I knew I had a couple second gap, so I could give myself a little bit of a buffer. I didn't have to push like someone was right on my tail. But the emotions, dude, it's like when you cross the finish line, first place, is just like, just start crying. It's like all the effort and all the work you put in to be successful at this level is just amazing. And I'm like getting emotional again thinking about it, but hopefully we can have another good outing at VIR.
That kind of answers my question, because I gotta admit, I'm terrible at wheelies. And I noticed that you didn't wheelie across the line, but you probably had so much going on emotionally that you weren't even going to do that.
Yeah, and we've got some pretty sophisticated wheelie control on the bike, so I can only get a foot or so off the ground. So I'd rather not do it than have some baby wheelie across the line. I think I about fist pumped out of my leathers, so that made up for it.
That was so awesome to see, man. Very, very awesome. And you had a busy weekend, right? You had 4 races, and like, how do you get through that? It must be so hard. 2 races a day, right?
Yeah, it was. And it was, it's always challenging the first few rounds doing double duty with both classes, because even though I put in the time, I put in the effort to train and get in shape, there's nothing that compares to, 19 laps at Road America or Road Atlanta after doing 13 in the stock race. So physically I felt great, but there's definitely room for improvement. And I think that'll only come with, some more seat time.
Yeah. I mean, first race weekend of the season, you'll find a rhythm. But again, it's not just physically taxing, but it's also mentally taxing to like have that level of concentration for 4 races in a weekend. That's amazing.
Absolutely. But when the bike is on and you can focus on, the riding, and it becomes easy to hit your marks and go fast, it's easier to focus on your breathing and staying relaxed. But like, what's difficult is when the bike's not working so well and you're struggling with the setup and you're missing your marks. That's when it takes your attention off of your breathing and relaxation and mental focus. just to get around the track. So when everything's working right, it's definitely a lot easier to stay focused.
Awesome. Now let's talk about the Superbike races. Want to give us the lowdown on what happened in race 1 and race 2 there?
So I felt great after the stock race on Saturday, and I was looking forward to the Superbike race. We had a few of the Superbike riders drop out due to mechanicals and whatnot, but I had a really good pace right from the beginning, and I was able to maintain that throughout the race. And I didn't really spend a lot of time looking at my pit board, so I wasn't sure exactly what position we were in. But, to come across the line 7th place in Superbike overall is an amazing accomplishment on a stock bike. Like, anytime I'm anywhere near the top 10, it's just like overwhelming to think that I'm competing at the highest level in the United States and succeeding at it, with the equipment that we have. So I felt great. And then really Sunday, my focus was just on the stock race. Like, I put every ounce of effort I had into that stock race. So by the time we rolled into Superbike race 2 on Sunday, I think I made it about 3 laps before I was like totally burned out. And I had 16 left. So we'll work on that for the next round.
But you still finished 8th, right? You still
8th place. Yep.
Yeah, you still finished 8th. Like, I mean, yeah, there's such a huge difference, right, between the Superbikes and what you're running. You just look at the size of the trailers and you see the difference. Did you spend any time? I know in Superbikes, Hector Barbera is running a double R as well, and I mean he's been on the world stage for years. Did you spend any time behind him?
Yeah, so I finally got a good start. It took me quite a few attempts, but in Sunday's Superbike race, I got a better start. And also it helped because they restructured the way that they're gridding the bikes for Superbike race 2. The top 9 get based off of the finish from race 1. So since I finished so high in race 1 and 7th, I was able to start in 7th place for race 2, right behind Hector. So for the first couple of laps, I was able to follow him a little bit, but just in straight motor, he pulled a big gap on me on the back straight. But he actually helped tow me to a new personal lap record, and I don't know if that'll stand because it was in the Superbike race. But the record that I set in the stock race was a 26.9, a 126.9, and I did a 126.5 following Hector.
Wow!
So I learned a little bit.
Very, very cool. You did learn a little bit following him.
Yeah,
because he's got a ton of experience for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's pretty cool to be on track with guys like Hector and Lars Baz and even the guys that I look up to in our own championship. So yeah,
guys like Jeff May who have been everywhere, right? To be racing against them. The guys
I have a ton of respect for Jeff. We actually were pitted right next to each other, and we kind of we're working together throughout the weekend, and talking to each other about how the race was going to go. And he's a good dude for sure.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Well, again, congratulations. All of us at the BMW Riders Association are so glad to see success for you. You've worked so hard for it. We read it every issue, how hard you're working for this. So this is all well-deserved for sure.
Well, thank you. It's a team effort. I invested a lot of money and a lot of time this off season to make sure we were prepared for the start of the year, something we didn't have the luxury of being able to do last season. So with everything we learned last year, a ton of preparation, me being in, pretty good physical shape, no broken bones this year, I think we've got a really good shot at the title. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm just going to stay focused and keep working hard and see where that takes us. So awesome. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Now let's give you some time to do a shout out to the team and your sponsors.
Yeah. So I've had some sponsors that have come back on board this season. I've had some new sponsors who jumped on this year. First of all, I have to thank BMW. I have to thank my crew guys, Steve Weir from BMW North America, Alex Torres from Fastline Motorcycle Performance. Those are the 2 guys that solely work on my equipment. My mom and her Harley Davidson dealership out of upstate New York. The California Superbike School jumped on to title sponsor me for I rode Atlanta, and I was super happy for that relationship to continue. Irv Seaver BMW came on board during the off season to help me out quite a bit. Apex Assassins is a track day company based out of Las Vegas. They're stepping up to help me this year. The umbrella of Helmet House, which supplies me with my suits through Core-Tech, Shoei helmets, Alpine Star boots. They've stepped up this year as well. Alpha One Vinyl Works, Excelsior Solutions. Man, there's a whole list of people, and I've actually got some really cool things in the works for VIR about a potential new sponsor, which stay tuned for that. And actually some really exciting news coming in the next month or so about my plans at MotoAmerica. So
awesome. We all look forward to that. So this is awesome, man. So happy for you.
Thanks. A few other sponsors I have to thank. Hustle Hard Racing came on board, Full Spectrum Batteries, Evol Technologies, SBS Brakes, Olin's, GB Racing, Precision Hydration, keeping me ready for the track, and Motul as well. So if I forgot anybody, I apologize. I'll make sure to get you guys in the next column.
You'll get that list. But I mean, it's hey sponsors, it's already paying off. Look at this guy.